Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel Try It Yourself, and I have another emergency repair. For those of you that follow my channel, I had a little bit ago a coolant leak, and I replaced an elbow on the radiator, actually on the EGR valve. And the story was that leaking stops for a while, and now I'm dropping about 2 quarts of the coolant, and I'm on the road, and I'm gonna be using this thing. I'm gonna find you a link and stuff like that. You can find a little bit cheaper stuff than this, but this one over here, it says that it's working on uh, on the plastic, aluminum, cast iron, and everything. Basically, this stuff should work for everything. And if you have a smaller engine, they recommend to use half of the bottle, like 3-cylinder or 4-cylinder. They use they recommend to use half of this bottle. And another thing, if you're gonna go through the instructions over here, they recommend to let the engine cool off, because you're supposed to pour this thing directly into radiator. Well, Ford Transit doesn't have the radiator. Again, if you follow my channel, I have rebuilt vehicle, and the damage was done somewhere in that corner, so I'm not surprised that all of this thing is keep popping out. So very possible I will need to replace the radiator, but again, since I'm on the road, and I bought this thing in AutoZone for $13. I gotta check if I can find that cheaper in Amazon. But since I'm on the road again, the first auto parts store that was on the road, I got this thing. So anyway, I filled up my coolant reservoir to the top mark, and it looks like I dropped again about 2 quarts. I drove for 4 hours, which is about 250 miles, and I'm back to where I was before. So that's what I'm gonna use right now. They recommend the engine to cool off again, because you need to remove the cap, and if you do that and you have to pour this thing directly into radiator, this is must do. Otherwise you can burn yourself. This thing is just gonna shoot through there. So you have to shut it down and blah blah blah. Because I go through the coolant reservoir on this one, I really don't have to do this thing. So, but when you pour this thing, you have to shake it well, really well, to make sure this, because this is like a fiber particles, copper, and all kinds of stuff, you know. And actually, I used this thing once before when I was on my older van, and there was totally different situation when basically my aftermarket coolant fan cut through the radiator. But even then this thing worked. But then again, I was on the road. Before I figure out what it was, the fan cut again through whatever this thing plugged, and anyway, that was it. So right now, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's somewhere in the plastic, dripping somewhere from the corner. Again, so I'm gonna use this thing. When you pour this thing in, you have to let your vehicle idle for 15 minutes with all of your heaters max on a maximum heater, everything on, and let it run for 15 minutes. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Shake it well, pour it in a reservoir, and I mean, this is summer, but it's evening right now, so it's not that hot, so I guess it's not gonna be that crazy, because I have to heat it up. Because the reason it is, when you have to turn the heater on, summer or winter, it doesn't matter, because if you didn't know, your heater works on the coolant circulating through the big circle, going through the heater inside the van and stuff like that. So when you turn the heater on, it actually circulates better through the system. So hot or cold, doesn't matter. Make sure you turn off the AC, turn on the heater on the max setting. Anyway, let's talk more work, and hopefully this thing should do the trick, because I need to drive another 3 hours and I have delivery in the morning. And if this thing is not gonna work, then I'm gonna have to drive back 6 hours home and do it the proper way, which is replacing the radiator. Or maybe it's a problem with the hose or something, which I hope it's not. So I'm gonna use this thing first, and I will let you know how it worked. If this video will be helpful for you, please don't forget to give me a like for this video, and if you're not subscribed to this channel, please do so. This will not cost you a thing, but this will help to promote my channel. Thank you. So that's the coolant reservoir, and you don't really can see anything in there. It's gonna do a little hiss on me, and then if you're gonna look inside, it's basically just somewhere way below the minimum. So now I gotta shake it real well. So that's what it looks like, particles, and shake it real well. And now you pour all of it in there. That's what it looks like. And again, if you're gonna see, it's actually drop less than 2 quarts at this point. It's right there, see, just below minimum but not maximum yet, but that's okay. So now I'm gonna run it. Obviously you want to close it up. We're gonna start. Everything, all heater, max heater. So everything all the way up, and right now 2204. So 15 minutes. I'm, by the way, in the high right now, which doesn't really matter at this point. So, well, I'm gonna let it run for 15 minutes. And meantime, I'm gonna take a bathroom break and let this thing run over here for 15 minutes. Push this thing through. Right here, do you see this return? So the float is still good. It's been 15 minutes, by the way. So the float is good. It didn't plug the system, so the engine got warmed up. Right here through this return hose, the circulation is still going. Right here, I'm gonna show it over here. It's keeping the level about where it was, just below the maximum point. And at this point, basically, I will not need to add any coolant. I'm gonna let it run just like this. Right now, do you see the smoke? That's the burning coolant. That basically it's hot, so wherever the leak is, this time I actually prop the fan away from the radiator, and the radiator is not cut, so the brake's somewhere on the edge. So anyway, at this point, like I said, right here you can see that that's better angle with the light. The floating, the return floating is going, and you can see it over here. It's because it's heating up. It's actually raising above the line or below. So obviously it's too early to tell if it's plugged the hole yet. But anyway, this smoke over here, that's the confirmation from the burning antifreeze, burning coolant that was dripping on the hot engine over there. So they're gonna burn out at some point. What I care about, so the hole get plugged in at this point, and then we'll basically, I will know tomorrow at least. So if it dropped, well, actually I'd say a quart or less than a quart, just enough for that whatever, how many ounces are in that bottle. But anyway, so that's the story for now, and obviously there's going to be continue to this story. So the moment of repair, that's the mileage, 171,415 miles, and today is June 18th. So 3 hours later and almost 200 miles. Coolant level dropped a little. So again, I don't see the smoke coming over here. So at this point, I'm not too optimistic, but at the same time not panicking yet. So I'm parking over here at the truck stop until the morning. Vehicle will be running all night long. We'll check in the morning, and then we'll basically see better. 6 o'clock in the morning. Van was running a whole night, so this is 8 hours since I put that stop-like thing in my coolant system. Temperature of the engine block showing normal. So let's see where's the coolant level at this point. So it's right there, right on that level as I added 8 hours ago. So still don't want to be too optimistic. No smoke, no puddles under. There is one over there, but I think this is from the exhaust condensation. So right now mileage is 172 to 49, so about 800 plus miles after repair. And the plug-in didn't work. I made it home, by the way, and if you look inside, the reservoir is dry, empty, and the problem basically got worse. I got antifreeze all over the engine, the fan, and at this point I don't know what the problem is. I noticed that it actually held the level for quite a bit, for a few hundred miles actually, and I thought maybe magic did happen, but no, it didn't. But then again, it's too early to say if the thing works or not. But bottom line, it actually held me enough to get home, and now I'm gonna have to take it apart to actually find where the hole is, and looks like the hole is pretty big, because it's, if you look over there, it's a mess. So So right away over here you actually could see that it was running for some time, and this is really strange because this magical stuff should actually take care of this, because I think, I mean, I thought that there's somewhere maybe problem with the hose, but anyway, the bottom line, the problem was radiator, and this thing did not work.